Peaceful greetings, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share and practice together. Shall we use a little bit of contemplative style today?
Yes.
Thank you. In thinking deeper about transforming our mind through compassion, we will first ask some questions to our own mind and answer them in silence. So, what is mind? What is mind? And where is it? Where is our mind? According to Buddhism, mind is formless, odorless, colorless, and shapeless. Yet, our mind has this amazing ability to think, to recognize, to remember, to act or react. Yes, to act or react. If we are not mindful, we may react to every negative thing out there in the airwaves. Thus, we may end up clouding our primary mind or consciousness with afflictive emotions, just like hindering the bright sun with thick layers of clouds. Shakyamuni Buddha said, mind is everything. What we think, we become. I say, never belittle your small planet. It has space for limitless growth. Never belittle your small heart. It has space for boundless compassion. Buddha said, everything is based on mind, is led by mind, is fashioned by mind. If you speak and act with pure mind, happiness will follow you as a shadow clings to a form. Going back, mind can think, remember, and hold. Now, the next question is, what is on your mind? What are you holding on? Are they worth cherishing? What is on your mind? What are you holding on? Are they worth cherishing? Minding our mind is a great responsibility that we might forget or ignore sometimes. We certainly clear junk mails out of our inbox. Yet we let negativities accumulate in our mental inbox. Thus, oftentimes, our mind roam out to find some distractions or positive memories because what we have within is a heap of negative layers of emotions. Instead of becoming immune to negativities, we sometimes act like a magnet to negativities, accumulating as much as we could. Thich Nhat Hanh said, I am here, I am home. Is your mind home? Is your mind with your body? Home is where heart is, right? Therefore, we must make sure that we are home so that we can take care of what is being cherished in our home, at our home. Just like objects, what is worth cherishing are those which are helpful to us in times of difficulties, in times of needs. If what is being cherished inside is creating more problems, more pain than helping us, that is an indication of a red tape. It is an indication that it might be better to let go of them rather than to cherish them. That leads us to think about afflictive emotions. How does afflictive emotion impact us? And what can we do about them? How does afflictive emotion impact us? And what can we do about them? Afflictive emotions are secondary minds. According to Buddhism, each individual has a primary mind or consciousness that travels from lifetime to lifetime. Yet there are many secondary minds like anger, jealousy, hatred, and so on, that sometimes we accumulate from and learn from different things, different experiences, and sometimes, we unintentionally nourish them. Negative emotions may adversely impact our own physical well-being, mental health, and our relationship with fellow humans, animals, and the environment also. In some Buddhist texts, hosting negative emotions is compared to intaking poisons because it brings suffering and negativity, impacting every cell of our own existence, every cell of even our physical body. We can examine ourselves. When were you happy? When you were angry? Right? When were you happy? When you are hateful or when you were hateful, right? So we didn't want pain and suffering, but we are embracing pain and suffering if we are holding on to those negative emotions called as afflictive emotions. Okay. I wrote sweet peas, peas, those are, the vegetables. Sweet peas wither when it is bitter outside. Smiles wither when it is bitter inside. Right? So negative emotions are real. They are bringing pain. But the good news is we can do something about them. Okay? So some people say, well, I was angry because he said this and that, right? Or he did this and that. Well, there's the point. You have the right to your own mind. Only you have the right over your own mind. Buddha said, you can be your best friends or you can be your worst enemies, right? So no one can harm you more than you can do to yourself. At the same time, no one can help you more than you can do to yourself. So if you boost up the emotional immunity, you will be fine even when someone say or does something to you or not. Look at the trees during the hurricane or storm. Those healthy and deep-rooted trees can withstand storms. Those unhealthy or maybe not deep-rooted may trickle down by storms, right? So we each have the potential to withstand others' negative emotions or behaviors so that we don't become a customer of others' negativities. Okay? We can resist the storm and not to become victims of others' negativities. Broadly speaking, people act or react to others' emotions, others' negative emotions, particularly in three different ways. One, reflection or reflective. The second one is absorption. And third one is transformation. Okay? So absorbing negative emotions, going back, the first one, which is reflecting negative emotions, is in that way we are acting like a mirror, right? So we are throwing back whatever negative emotions like anger or hatred other person is showing to us, and we show the anger and hatred back to that people. That is reflecting their negative emotions back to them. And, it is sort of like a retaliation, right? And Mahatma Gandhi said, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, right? The second behavior or second way of dealing with negative emotions is absorbing negative emotions. That is taking all the negative emotions that people are throwing at you, so you end up taking in all of them, right? And is it like a lake absorbing the heat from the sun, right? So soon we will see the warmer weather in the summer, and you can see the lakes warming up because of the sunlight, and the lake soak up the heat and doesn't say or do anything back to the sun, and but due to excessive absorption, the water temperature rises, and eventually the hot water becomes unsuitable or not suitable for fishes and beings living in the lake, right? And also the lake itself may become evaporated, right? Because of the overheating. In person, we have distress or sometimes emotional outbursts when we accumulate too much of negativities within us and cherish them. And then at one point we have emotional outbursts. Okay? So the third way is transformation. Is we face with the negative emotions of others, but we transform those energies so that negative emotions become, encouraging rather than discouraging us. Okay, we take them, transform them in a way that becomes actually helpful rather than harmful to us. Okay, and so it is like we can, in today's world, we can think like a solar panel, right? Solar panel takes in the heat of the sun, heat that can burn our skin. It takes the heat and then turns into energy that lightens the dark space in our world, right? So, we can see the transformation, right? And so if we use this technique, we can add compassion to it so that we can transform our mind, transform our emotions with compassion. Okay? When we choose compassion to transform our minds, we are motivated to become a problem solver rather than problem creator. Okay? So now, in that sense, we become actually healer because we heal the problems, pain, suffering. Okay? So, according to Buddhism, the sincere wish and actions to free any sentient being from suffering and the causes of suffering is defined as compassion. It turns our selfish and harmful energies into thoughtful and positive energies. The more positive emotions we possess, the more chances we get to experience joy and happiness in life, right? So, if we choose to transform our mind with compassion, we are setting compassion as default mental state. Okay? So our minds become compassionate by its nature, and from then onward, our mind becomes more stable, more understanding, and more problem solver than problem creator. Thus, we become more healthier, happier, and more understanding. Warm-heartedness becomes a great value of ourselves. In order to save some time for us, I'm going to speed up a little bit. Okay, all right, thank you. And so, with compassion, how many types are there, right? And, how are their impacts on our well-being, okay? So, think about, when we talk about types of compassion, we must practice both self-compassion and compassion towards others. Okay? There are very kind people who say, "Oh, I hate how I look. I can never forgive myself." But you have the ability to change such thoughts and attitudes to become more kind, to become more understanding, and more respecting to self. Okay? That helps us to minimize suffering within us. And that is self-compassion. Taking good care, becoming more kind, more understanding, and more forgiving to our own mistakes in our lives. So you are in a better position to transform others' emotions or show compassion to others when you are in a more stable, peaceful, happier state. When you're, like Shantideva said, when your feet are protected with good shoes, right? Then you are safe to walk on a trail that has sharp edges or thorns, right? So when our mind is strong, even if there are outside circumstances that are not convenient to us, that are not helpful to us, but we can safely and healthily, with a healthy way, we can challenge those situations. Um, our research with 92 undergraduate college students shows that, you know, um, students who practice short, like with 8 short video lessons of compassion, shows 11% increase in their sense of well-being after just 8 brief video lessons. And it shows over 22% of increase of self-compassion. So what we are trying to say is compassion can be learned, can be practiced, and it can bring real positive impact to our own lives. By transforming our mind with compassion, it helps us to connect with others and thereby reduce the sense or the feeling of loneliness. We must take care of our inner net in this time of internet. Right? We may have high speed 5G internet connection at home 24/7, but we have to check whether we have a strong inner net that is helping us on a daily basis. That helps us to reduce the feeling of loneliness and all the negativities that comes with it. Okay? So it helps us to bring joy and happiness in our life. And so one final poem that I like to share is lotuses thrive with water, not toxins. Heart thrives with compassion, not hatred. Thank you, everyone, for your kindness, for your attention and practice of compassion together. Thank you so much, Michelle, for inviting me and for helping me with this service. Thank you, everyone. Peace.
Thank you so much, Thupten. Thank you for taking time with us today to center our hearts and our souls. We are so thankful for your time to show us how to transform our own minds through compassion. And we hope that you have felt the compassion from us today as well.